I'm Cassi.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
And we're just, laughing about the end of the world.
Yeah,
so
look,
fun times.
I feel like we have to at this point. It's just like, man,
Just-
what are we supposed to do? Like, gas is $7.
I know.
Yep.
Nobody can find tampons anywhere.
Yep.
Like, it's just
I mean, there's no, oh my gosh. It's epic. So the reason it started is because we all got water coolers. We have literally signed on to be those people who have are getting delivered water.
Oh, I have been a Sparklets girl for the last 6
You are
years.
OG.
Like
Yes.
I have been committed to the Sparklets game. And I feel like there's something deep inside of me. Like I was telling you both that even those Brita filters, I have just a weird mental hang up about tap water, even if it goes through one of those Brita filters. And I can trace it. There is a direct line to why I feel this way. And it's because when I was growing up in Vegas, there was a news story that now I'm like, was that an urban legend? That said that they had found three-eyed fish in the Hoover Dam because it was or in the water supply because it was so polluted. And after that, my parents got Sparklets delivered to the house.
Hilarious.
And we never drank tap water again. Like in Vegas, we just never drank tap water.
My parents got Culligan. They had a Culligan guy come
think it
out
was
to our
actually that.
fracking house and set up a whole system for our tap water. So our tap water was pristine. It was, and they came and tested it on a regular basis. Yeah. And here's the thing.
Meanwhile,
so growing
I'm
up in Ohio,
sucking water out of the
hose.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
I used to do that. And the thing is, what's so weird about it is in elementary school, I was sucking water out of the hose. I was always getting water from the water fountain at my elementary school, which that there was always that one weird, gross kid who put their whole mouth over the top of it. Everyone had one of those, right? There was always one resident weirdo.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I do remember gum. Somebody would always put gum.
Oh yeah.
No, there was it was always so gross because it had that sediment on the outside.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
From that buildup of calcium or whatever.
Oh my God, totally.
And there was always one kid in school who put their whole mouth, lips, and teeth
over the spigot. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I've never.
Yeah.
How did any of us from the 80s and 90s make it out okay?
Honestly.
How are we all right?
To be fair, I was a teenager when my parents went for the Culligan thing.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that growing up in Ohio, I remember when I was a kid remembering I barely remember the story of the lake being on fire in Cleveland, right? Or the Cuyahoga River or something catching fire.
Lake Erie
and
or
then,
something.
And then an inordinate number of breast cancer and cancer things. So much so that there's a Cleveland Clinic and Ohio State has an entire cancer. It definitely
drilled into you a fear of natural water.
Yes,
yeah, same. I'm no, I want that shit processed as much as possible and put into a container and delivered to my home.
Also, to be fair, my dad did work for the water treatment plant in Columbus. So the fact that he was you know what, guys, let's go ahead and
oh wow. Dude, I just been on two. I think my own TikTok has become my For You page. I'm a little too in conspiracy talk now.
No.
So
you're about to flip over to the wrong side.
yeah,
of TikTok.
I'm just everybody is saying the world is ending this year as we know it. So I'm just well,
right.
I got water.
Yeah. So you can keep that 5 gallon in the closet.
I got water and stocked up on tampons and rice and beans. Let's go.
I'm ready.
Wow. Well, on that note,
I know
some dating news. I actually found a fun article in Glamour, and to be fair, it just came across my radar, but it is from January of this year, so it's I'm maybe a little late on the pickup on this one. But had you guys heard of oystering?
No, I feel like there are too many phrases at this point where I'm no. What is it?
So oystering basically, according to this article, refers to the idea that people are finding themselves back in the single seat and getting back into the dating world post breakup, are seeing the world as their oyster, right? So it's kind of like,
okay.
I like it. I'm like, I can see that. And I actually feel that energy. I think that maybe it's just we came into 2022, and even though everybody and their brother is getting COVID right now, it seems to be like people are not concerned because everybody is just out there living their mask-free lives. And I think people have like an energy of like, we've been cooped up, so they're ready to get out, and they're just feeling like, oh, I'm single, I can do whatever the fuck I want, I can see who I want, and the world is my oyster. And I
feel like that possibly goes beyond just dating. I mean, if you look at the Great Resignation and the way that people feel about their work lives, along with their dating lives. I mean, I know for my age, I'm like, I don't want to play this way anymore. I'm going to play this game by rules I set. Yeah. And that's for dating, that's for work, that's for a lot of things. So I kind of love this term, if that's what it means.
I kind of like it too. And I will tell you, I've noticed kind of along this oystering lines, and I guess also end of the world lines, is that I think people are much more open to the idea of just being pansexual or bisexual, like identity wise. Like, I don't think that people are, and maybe it's just what I'm seeing, but I really feel like there's a lot of women who are like, you know what, I'm just not interested in dating a man right now, so I'm going to see what's out there. And I think that's happening on all sides.
I feel like the more we as a society move away from the concept of gender, that's just what's going to happen, because it's just like, as soon as you stop seeing people along a very strict gender binary, you just start seeing people as people. Right? And then you have things that you find very attractive about other human beings. I think we're going to see more and more and more of that. I think it's amazing.
I like that. And I think that the other side of that coin is, speaking to like, jokingly into the world, but I think there's a lot of people who just don't, or choosing not to have children regardless of dating same sex or opposite sex or gender neutral or whatever it is. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of people who are making the decision to not want to become parents.
There are so many articles about people being child-free by choice right now. And I'm living for it, because I'm just like, I remove the stigma of feeling like you have to live your life any kind of way,
any order of way,
or that you're going to be dissatisfied, because I feel like that's the line that's been given a lot, is that if you don't have kids, like, oh, well, someday it won't be an option and you're going to be dissatisfied and your life will just be meaningless. And it's just like, well, that's not
true.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I just think that too, like, there's been so many things that we've adjusted our lives for in the past, 15, 20 years, truly. I truly believe this. I feel like we gave up hair color, right? We're like, oh, I'm going to let my hair grow out further, longer. I'm going to be okay with having roots down to past my ears and just
during
blonde
the pandemic,
on the ends,
you mean?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying even before that, right? Because we called them recession highlights. Let's be honest. Ombre was recession highlights. We were like, let's give it a little longer. So we gave up on freshy hairs. We gave up on the idea of owning a home. We're like, you know what? A tiny house doesn't seem that bad.
Dude, they have a fucking shed at Home Depot right now that I'm like,
I could
fuck with that. Honestly, it's like, well, what is it? It's like $400 a month. I'm like, do you know what I would do if that's how much I was paying for my fucking living situation to only have to pay $400 a month? I would be rolling down the street just like raining money on people. Honestly.
I don't know. I need space. I really looked into that tiny house thing for a minute, because I was like, some of this shit is incredible. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I've lived in teeny tiny apartments before.
It's tough.
And I get, just for me personally, it's not tough for everybody, but like for me personally, like I get so like, because I like being in my space, that like I get really claustrophobic.
It would have to be in a place
plot
like
of
here.
land.
Yeah, it would have to be a place like Los Angeles where the weather is conducive for like you going outside, having a patio area, or maybe even having just like a little private space.
Yeah, you'd have to have an outdoor space. That's always what I think when I see people who have like those little bitty teeny tiny apartments in New York City, where they're like inches away. They sleep on like a loft inches away from the ceiling. And I'm like,
couldn't.
in the city
Couldn't.
where like you don't have a yard.
No.
It feels
like
dystopian to me,
I
actually.
So one of our listeners, funny enough, posted on her in Facebook the other day, and it was like the future of air travel could look like this, and it was stacked.
I saw that,
and I was like, honey, I had an anxiety attack looking at it. I'm like, absolutely.
I don't like traveling. Look, being on a plane that close to other humans who I'm not related to and or like is already a no.
You're asking a lot.
They're sitting on my lap now.
This is me not even I can't even fly Spirit anymore. No. You know what I mean? Like
stepped up your game to business class.
So bougie. Yeah. I'm like, I was like, oh, it's another like 140 total to fly business class. So yeah, yes. It's worth it. I can't. Looking at that picture, I was like, started just itching.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Why are we doing this to
You know
ourselves?
what's so funny though? I was literally a hair's breadth away from applying to a position that I'm completely qualified for and would be a step up for me. But it was in New York, and I was like, I don't know that I could live. I mean, I already feel like the cost of living here is high.
Mm-hmm.
But the cost of living there is higher too. But it's also the like you said, the tight space, the having to live literally kind of like back to back. I just don't have it anymore.
New York.
Love New York.
I love New York as a city, but I'm like, there are too many people in too small an area. Like there just are. Like I think that there are too many people here, and LA's huge.
My favorite is following on TikTok the real estate. There's one called Fakakta Apartment.
Yes. Yes.
I'm like,
you're welcome. Yes.
I love her TikTok.
Me
and I'm just
too.
like, I look at that and I'm like, oh, okay, LA is not too bad.
Not too bad. Right. It's just the idea. Not like, see, like when I was younger, I was like, fuck, New York's where I was meant to be. It's my speed. I love
feel
it.
hotter in New York. I will say that. Like certain cities have like a vibration and an energy. Yeah. And like I feel hotter in New York than I do in LA.
Because I'm weirder. So I definitely feel you on that, because I agree. Like in New York, I have that I might be your art school teacher vibe. And that works so hard.
Your art teacher that you had a crush on?
Yeah. It works really hard for me in New York. In LA, it's kind of like it's not. It doesn't hit as well here.
I think I'm Midwest hot. I'm not coastal hot.
Hey, we're all Midwest hot.
Honey, you're
like an 8.
You're 9. An Idaho thirst trap.
Well, there's the title of this episode. Oh my god!
I mean,
I love Idaho.
To be honest,
to be fair,
all of us are Midwest hot.
Yes.
I don't think I ever get hit on more than when I'm in Missouri. Like I get hit on every day when I'm there.
I sent you guys that TikTok where it was like people from LA when they go anywhere else, and it's like, oh my god, you guys like have a Whole Foods.
They're probably looking at me because they think I'm famous.
Oh my god, that energy is so fucking real. I know.
I cannot wait actually to go back to Ohio next month, because it's like it is kind of good for my self-esteem.
Instant self-esteem booster.
I love it. They're so nice there, and it's just like I get like talked to and hit on, and I'm like, thanks, Ohio. Like just make a girl feel real nice.
Idaho thirst trap. That's hilarious. Well, we did say a couple weeks ago when we did our OG round of TikTok thirst traps that we were going to do a round 2.
And I cannot believe that we slept on my boy Kyle Pru.
We talked about him. We did bring him up because his voice first of all, physically good-looking guy.
Hot. He is hot.
Yeah, he's hot.
He is so hot.
He's got great eyes.
Yeah.
And then his voice, like there are some people whose like voices you're attracted to. And like his voice, amazing. And then we did also talk about, because I did do a TikTok though saying that everybody when I was in Missouri had the Hank Hill mustache.
Listen,
and somebody,
I don't hate it.
Somebody tagged Andrewski in it, and they were like, because he's from Missouri, and they were like, oh, you were spotted like out in the wild. And I was like, I wish.
Yes! Oh my God.
He has one of those mustaches.
He does.
But he
He wears
cute,
it well.
though. Yeah.
Yes.
Look,
Yeah.
there is that thing going around because the Maverick movie, right?
Right.
And
Oh, Miles Teller has a mustache.
but he looks so good.
Yeah,
But
he does.
Nice with it.
Let's not sleep on Goose, the original mustache.
Oh, yes.
From
The
Top Gun.
original mustache.
From Top Gun. Because I mean, hot. But it is true that now all these guys are going to be out here trying to put a mustache on. And I saw that meme where it was like, you're actually going to look like a dude from Super Troopers.
Oh, yeah.
Farva.
Yes.
Farva.
Get another
Yeah.
large
You with a
Farva.
mustache.
It actually just occurred to me that Hank Hill didn't have a mustache. I don't know why in my head I was just like, they
Yeah.
all look, but that's the energy.
Yes.
Okay? Like that is
Yes.
Oh,
the
right.
energy that a lot of these like mustachioed people are bringing with them to the table, you know?
What is the, there is and the girl that does this dance, what is that?
Bob's Burgers.
Bob's Burgers.
Oh.
That's the guy that I think of with the mustache.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bob. Yeah, okay. So I gotta go with, if we're gonna FMK
Yes.
TikTok
Yes.
men, I'm gonna go with Andrewski. He's a home state boy represent.
Yeah.
And he's so funny.
He had his rock story, his rock saga with his neighbor was a gem.
and you know what? He has a Midwest accent, but I like his voice too.
Yeah.
Like,
I do actually
it's
too.
charming.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it.
I'm going to go because I think we all know that my thirst trap is.
Cassie likes a traditional, classic
I do.
thirst trap.
I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with the classics.
I
No.
didn't say there was. Yeah,
No.
no.
But what we mean by classic is that his muscles have muscles and his tattoos have tattoos.
Yeah, there's
Great.
probably a transition involved where he is clothed and then unclothed. Generally,
I'm sweating right now.
I know you love it.
I'm going to go with this guy that has been living in my brain rent free. And I'm praying to not butcher his name because I think that it's Turkish. His name is Furkan Yusinme.
Oh. How do you spell it so that the listeners can find
Oh,
him?
yeah. You want to find this guy. Furkan. And then it's Yusinme. So Usenmez.
Okay.
Yeah. Hot.
Yes, I have
I'll
seen.
pass him
I have
around.
seen some.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll pass him around.
He is hot. He's got tattoos up to like his ears, basically. I
goddamn.
mean, and actually, he's got a quality of, because we were discussing before we were recording, because we were talking about somebody else, about how sometimes these like very buff, oily, muscular men are not hot to me because they seem so like arrogant and douchebaggy and bleh, like,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
this guy gives me a little bit more quality. Like I there's like something about him that's not just pure
Yeah. No, I'm trying.
buff bro.
Yeah. It's sort of almost like the Thor Bradley effect
is,
kind
yeah.
of thing, where it's like Thor Bradley does very thirst trappy kind of videos, but he doesn't
Yeah.
come off as a douche or anything like that.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice person.
A nice young man.
Nice-
Indeed.
a nice young gentleman.
Yeah.
Excuse me while I just think about wood for a minute.
He's like, this one's wet. I'm like,
How do you know?
Oh, okay. So we have three very different.
Very
Yeah.
different.
Very different. Like Kyle Prue does all of his TikToks like laying in bed talking about things
Yeah.
you can say to piss off men, which is amazing.
Love that energy.
Andrewski is the car confession TikToker who's
funny
like
as hell. Talks fast.
so
Love it.
funny, so funny. And then we have the traditional thirst trap over here. Okay.
All right. FMK.
Wait, how do you pronounce his first name again?
Would I say Furkan?
Furkan?
Furkans?
Furkan.
Okay.
Furkan.
Oh, okay. I know what I'm going to
Okay.
do. Actually, I do know what I'm going to do. I am going to marry Andrewski. I just feel
Yeah.
like that's going to be a
That's
real
perfect
fun
for you.
life. I saw some videos of him dancing at a wedding that he posted on TikTok. Hilarious.
He's adorable.
Not a great dancer. Very funny.
He
Very
does remind
funny.
me the most of Tony, to be
He's silly, and I like it a lot. I am going to actually fuck Kyle Prue.
fair. Okay.
I'm going to fuck Kyle Prue. There is an energy. I don't even know if he is tall, but he's giving me tall guy
giving me tall
energy.
guy energy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like, which is a confidence thing. It doesn't even have anything to do with his actual height. It's just like, I am getting a good, confident, but not arrogant energy from Kyle Prue. His voice, stop it right now.
Yeah, I hope he's a dirty talker because that's going to take me over the edge.
And oh my God,
that voice.
Yeah, yes. And I love that
Christina just died, you guys. R.I.P.
He's a feminist and not like male feminist TM. Like
No.
actually feels very like, you know, he likes dragging men on this app, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Dragging shitty men, obviously. It goes without saying. And Furcans? Furcan.
Yeah.
That
just
guy.
a single one of them.
Yeah, the other one. He's really hot and he actually does seem pretty funny and stuff like that. But just for me, I get very intimidated by those traditional thirst traps.
Okay.
Like I'm like intimidated by them. I don't know why. Not even like I'm intimidated like dating that person. Like I'm intimidated watching the content. Like I'm like,
that's so funny.
I get like nervous about it.
I have no business thinking that I could ever get anything like that. However,
do you want it?
The audacity is here. It is built inside of me, and I cannot help it.
Go for it. Shoot your shot.
Exactly. Also, while you're at it, I'm gonna need you to write down what his gym routine is.
Oh yeah,
right.
Christina's strength training right now.
Could you give me his diet plan?
Yeah.
That man doesn't. That's clean eating that gives your body.
Yeah.
Get your body to look like that. Wow.
For sure.
I got some
And his
clean eating
tattoos.
for him.
Oh wow.
Hey.
Oh hi.
All right. So what are you gonna do, Cass?
Oh, I think that I'm going to marry Kyle Prue. And I think it is the feminist energy.
Yeah.
I think that it reminds me the most of Chris. Chris loves nothing more than to talk about how shitty certain men
Tear
are.
down a shitty man.
Yeah. Loves it. It's kind of our favorite pastime. And I feel like that we would get along really well. And I think that's what it is. I'm looking for a long term.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Because body, that's going to change.
Yep.
I mean, Andrewski could shave his mustache. He'll still always be funny, but would I have to compete with that funny all the time? I'm the funny one.
True,
obviously. I can't. I just can't. So we could be friends for sure. But I don't think I could marry somebody who we would honestly always be competing with each other. So Andrewski, I'm going to have to pass on, but I am going to fuck for Kent.
All right.
I'm going to take that ride.
I think that I'm going to marry Andrewski as well. I thought about marrying Kyle Prue because I feel like we have very similar senses of humor. And so for the same reason that you're not hooking up with Andrewski,
I agree.
I just think it's too like.
I think you're going to have
get the compliment going, right?
I think you're going to have an amazing date. You and Kyle Prue.
Oh, we'd have
like it is a meeting of the minds. I think it's going to be awesome. But I do think long term, you're going to start getting snippy over coffee in the morning with each other, just because you're just like you're too alike.
It's too much. But am I going to fuck Kyle Prue? Absolutely.
Got it.
Absolutely. Like his energy and just like that wryness is very sexy to me.
Yeah.
The dry delivery.
Yes.
And so funny.
And to be honest, that is like the perfect, that's why I'm saying like complimentary, right? Like, whereas you need somebody who's like the
I need someone that a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
And sillier. I mean,
Silly.
because Eric is like that too.
Yeah.
He's definitely like a brighter, more optimistic,
Tony too.
lighter kind of person, and is a good balance to that. And so I think Andrewski, that would be
also
good.
I feel like Andrewski gets into like hijinks.
Yeah.
You know, which I'm like,
I do not like
that
hijinks.
is so funny to me. I don't like pranks, but I do like just wacky shit.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like he gets into some wacky shit.
Yeah. I like it. And there's also something really like kind of flirty sexy about Andrewski too that I like. I feel like he would be really fun between the sheets. So thirst trap part 2. Books. Do we have any more? Thank you, TikTok, for
keep sending them our way.
Please,
Exactly.
Look, if you have a favorite TikToker who you have been thirsting over, we want to hear about it.
Yeah.
We want to hear about it. And it doesn't always have to be men either. Like Hello Teffy, I think she's hilarious.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so many like
We love
amazing
Drew,
creators.
too.
Yeah.
Drew, hell
Obviously,
yeah.
Drew.
Drew's boyfriend.
Ooh, wait.
Drew's-
Wow.
Drew and her boyfriend are
Wouldn't kick either one of them
couple
out of
goals,
bed.
hotness,
Honestly,
hotness.
Yes. Yes.
Ugh.
Wow.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds
Yes.
good.
And we're back. All right, Cass, kick us off with some stories.
Okie doke. Mine came from a listener, and she is a longtime caller, longtime listener. I'm not going to say her name. She did not specify that I could, so I'm just going to leave her name out of it. She says, "Hey, ladies, me again. I seem to send in so many different dates, and I think a part of it is my laissez-faire approach to dating. I do not recommend taking this approach because it comes back with these crazy stories. At least the podcast benefits."
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, we do appreciate it.
She said, "I recently recalled this memory during therapy, and it's so bonkers to me. I figured I would share it with y'all. I had been dating this guy for a bit. We'd gone on a few trips together, and everything seemed fine. No big red flags that I saw. When he brought up going on a vacation to Mexico with his best friend and his wife, I agreed. I'd hung out with the two before, and it seemed like it would be a fun time. Overall, the trip went all right. The couple were a bit obnoxious and selfish, but between my date and I, things seemed all right. That was until the last day. We'd been staying at a large, sprawling resort, the type of resort that offers a golf cart ride to the airport shuttle location because it's so far from the rest of the resort.
Can I just say, and we've talked about this before, going on vacation with another couple or with other people, like even with your friends,
Literally my favorite thing.
It's so fun, but it has to be like the right people.
Yeah.
Because you are in like a concentrated situation where like you are kind of forced to hang out. Like, so it's like,
You do have to have the right people.
I would
think
be
it's gotta be
nervous to go with people I didn't know well.
I think it's got to be people that are okay doing stuff alone or together, like easygoing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've traveled with you guys.
Oh,
You
yeah.
and
We've traveled
Tony.
a lot.
That was fun. We
Yeah.
had a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're like good friends.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
We vibe like that.
Yeah, we already know that we vibe as couples,
Yeah.
so it's not like a surprise.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
This sounds like my nightmare.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you would hate this.
Yeah.
You're gonna hate it even more in a second.
Okay.
The golf cart ride is supposed to roll through every 15 minutes. However, the golf cart ended up being 20 minutes late to pick us up. We had been informed that if we were late to the airport shuttle, it would leave without us. So while everyone was loading up the luggage, I went to the driver and asked him if he could make a walkie ahead, like a walkie-talkie call ahead, to make sure that the shuttle waited for us. My date and his friend started yelling at me from where they were loading the luggage to calm down and shut up.
Whoa.
I was shocked.
I'm sorry. Do you want to be left here? Like, what?
I literally was just asking the guy a question, one that seemed pretty reasonable to me, and their actions of yelling at me from a distance felt really humiliating. I can fucking imagine. I would be crawling out of my skin.
Yeah.
Of course, no.
Like, who is the last person that yelled at me like that? Like, are you my dad? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
I got to be honest with you. I can't see a situation in which I would not be yelling back.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah,
See a
you guys know
situation
me.
in which you would not be yelling back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I'm sorry,
excuse
me?
you.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, and I have to say, like at the end of a vacation, even a good vacation, I'm exhausted.
home.
Like my nerves are always frazzled at the end of a vacation, even if it was a good one.
Because it's
so
the
like,
anxiety of the traveling home, making sure you get there. You got what you have to do to prepare for the week for work. You
Yeah,
got
so
pets to pick up.
I
or
might be
whatever.
yelling back too,
Oh,
because
yeah.
at this point I'm like,
You would definitely have a look. I can already see
The
your face.
look, yeah.
Your face. I see your head leaning out of the van door like, excuse me?
oh no, and I think we would all like say something, but it's just funny to me. I can picture the different ways it goes down dependent on which one of us it is.
Sure.
Christina is bite her lip, hold that energy in for later.
for later.
Oh man, you are fucking dead meat.
Yeah,
I feel like you and our writer are the way that your energy would be about this. You would swallow it for now. The driver was very kind and assured me that he'd walkied ahead and we were good to go. I got into the golf cart. Like, why was that a big deal? I cannot imagine why that was a big deal. Ugh. Got into the golf cart and told the two men that what had just happened was unacceptable. I was furious. See, that's a Christina. You guys, that was really unacceptable. I'm really mad. Me, I'm like, motherfucker, God damn it.
Oh yeah, and I'll just get quiet, and it will come out later.
Oh
Yeah. No, I'm definitely like spelling it out.
Yeah.
Like
that was really unacceptable, you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't appreciate that. I was unacceptable. They both kind of sat back and ignored me for the trip to the shuttle. Oh God, but after we loaded up for the ride to the airport, my date started teasing me, telling me that I was overreacting.
Do you know how quickly? Okay, listen.
Now all bets are motherfucking
All
off
bets
now.
are off. If you don't think that I am going up to that front desk at American Airlines or whatever the fuck we flew
And
here
changing
and
my
asking
seat?
if I can get my seat changed, oh my God.
Changing my seat, my AirPods are in. Who are you? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
Stranger.
you.
That's exactly how I would
done.
respond to it.
Yeah.
We're done. Snip, snip, bitch. We're done.
Snip,
okay.
bitch.
We're done.
I turned to him and told him that he could not gaslight me into believing that I had been, quote, acting crazy, as
Snaps,
he put
girl.
it.
Good.
And that him yelling at me in such a way was unacceptable. He went dead silent and turned away from me, shutting down completely. Okay, you
bye.
fucking child. Ugh, I was so frustrated over everything. I ignored his reaction. We got to the airport, and as we were unloading everything from the shuttle, he was being unnecessarily aggressive with the luggage, slamming it down, acting huffy.
Wow.
I
Oh,
continued
hate
to.
that.
Oh God,
your
throwing
little
a
fucking
fit.
temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Oh, are you mad?
Are you fucking toddler?
Also, nothing is less attractive.
No.
Nothing. Like,
Oh, we are
my
done.
God. Yeah.
Ugh. I ignore it. We walk to the airline check-in desk. This is where the bunkers part occurs.
What?
Yeah, you're like, what? That wasn't it? We are in a very busy airport of Cancun. It's smallish, but there are a lot of people moving around trying to get ready for their own flights, minding their own damn business. The place was loud and bustling. And as we were checking in, my date is still acting huffy, throwing luggage onto the scale, throwing his passport down at the agent. I ended up turning at him and telling him to stop acting childish. He turned to me and screamed, all caps, "How can I be calm when you accused me of raping you?" What?
Does he not know what
Excuse-
gaslighting means? Does he not know what it means? Like,
Aw.
really? I feel like maybe he has a misunderstanding of what gaslighting is.
Yeah. Oh.
The airport went silent
Oh God.
and stared at us like you could hear a pin drop. I was shocked, silent myself. And I stared at him, and his friend tugged on his arm and asked him to quietly. When that happened, I told the friend it never did. My date screamed at me again. "You accused me of gaslighting you. It's the same thing."
Oh my God. Well, it's not. It's not the same thing,
Not
my
even
dude.
fucking a little bit.
Oh my God, that's so embarrassing.
I didn't know what to say. The poor airline clerk just slid our passports across the countertop, staring.
Deborah's like, when's my break? I don't have to deal with this.
I cannot stand public arguments, and I cannot stand being the center of attention like that. This is me.
Yeah.
Unzip my fucking skin. I am out of here.
Yeah.
I told him that we were going to get through security and then we could talk. I was so furious. I was seeing red and I was shaking so hard. My teeth were rattling.
Oh,
From
that's
where
me. I
that's
get like that.
adrenaline.
My body
Yeah.
gets like hyped like that.
Yeah. We get through security and I gave that man the dressing down of his life.
Oh,
I felt
yes.
like a mother scolding her unruly child. It was so embarrassing. I even made him apologize to his friend and his friend's wife for his actions after. And I was
love this. That's school teacher energy that I
God.
appreciate. Like that is just like, and now you're going to say sorry to them. You embarrassed me and you embarrassed them. So you need to
embarrassed
apologize.
yourself.
yeah.
You need to apologize to everyone on this trip.
After I was finished giving a piece of my mind and a language lesson, English is his first language. He should know that gaslighting and rape are not the same. I wish I could say that I made good choices after that and left him there. But I allowed him to talk me into sticking around in a relationship with him longer than it should have gone. He said he was very sorry and I was young and dumb and I thought I was in love. I'm older and wiser now. Thanks for being a bright spot in the middle of my week. I love listening to y'all. It feels like I'm listening to friends talking and it's so fun.
Oh, that's so sweet. I mean, and also I have to say, we've all been there. We've had that conversation about like being young and staying in situations that you shouldn't. If she's young, honestly, her even dressing him down, I'm very impressed by.
Yeah,
because like I
absolutely.
probably
At that point.
wouldn't, like, you know, like
Yeah.
if I was at the age where I would have like stayed, I was also at the age where I would have like just
Placated.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for
Yeah, just
me,
to get you to shut up.
my anxious attachment issues or what have you had me in situations where somebody would, you know, throw temper tantrums on the regular if things didn't go his
You're trying to
way.
soothe.
And so my job was to make sure that the fucking path forward was smooth
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
him, no
Yep.
matter what.
Yeah.
And that's a
Me too.
shitty
To make
way
it-
to live.
To make
Yeah.
it less embarrassing.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Also,
that is so
yeah,
funny.
I did that too.
Sorry for a therapy moment that I'm about to have with you, but that just made me think about like growing up and some of the things that I saw other people do, like my mom did for my dad's temper tantrums.
Yep.
You know,
yeah.
and I remember he literally broke our phone one time, and I was just like, I'm not the goddamn one. I was like, people were like, I couldn't get a hold of you. I'm like, my dad broke the phone because he got mad. I'm not going to be the one who's like, it's so funny that I learned like that like weird lesson in elementary school. We're
See,
talking, I was young.
I wish that I had learned I'm not the one young. I mimicked what I saw.
Sure.
I definitely did. My first marriage is just a copy of my parents' marriage,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah.
Which is sad, you know, that I didn't learn from it.
But it's funny how
you
we
know.
take like those things that we see and we either do that, right? Christina, we take the thing where we saw and we're like, oh, that's how you should behave in those situations. Or you're like,
It's just a
the
comfort
opposite.
zone.
Yeah.
It's just it's what you're raised, it's what you're used to, so
Sure.
it feels normal.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
you're like, wow.
Well, until you have a different perspective.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
that's really what it takes. It takes, you know, developing a different perspective. Ooh, wee.
Sorry for therapy.
No.
moment.
no, I like therapy corner.
Me too. Love it. Okay. So
How much do I owe you, by the way, Christina?
Okay. I was friends with a few people at work, and one male colleague, henceforth referred to as TCO for the clueless one,
Amazing.
had hinted in the past that he was interested in me. I'm not a fan of dating people I work with, and I'd also just come out of a relationship as well and wasn't looking to settle down, so I let him down as gently as I could. In hindsight, this may have been my first mistake. What were we just saying? Just like trying to gently be polite, right?
instead of just being like,
Honest. Yeah. A bunch of colleagues / friends at work decided that dinner and a movie would be a good idea, so we made plans to meet. They'd booked the restaurant. I just needed to show up, and then we'd decide on the movie when we got there. The evening rolls around, and I get dropped off at the restaurant and make my way up to the dining area. I'm looking around for our table and for the group, but I can only see TCO.
Oh,
He's sitting at a
no.
table for two.
Oh, no.
oh no.
I was confused, but made my way over. He stood up and pulled my chair out for me. What a gentleman, settling me at the table. When I asked where everyone else is, he explained that the first colleague was sick and the second colleague couldn't get a babysitter, etc.
Those colleagues were never coming.
I get that one or two may drop out, but was very surprised that everyone had. I also got a bit of a sinking feeling. I was at awkward level DEFCON 4.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I offered to explain to the restaurant what had happened and request a very late cancellation or a reschedule, and he tells me that he's already placed an order for food for both of us.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No.
He states that he's eaten here before and that he'd watched my food choices at work.
No.
And he knew what I liked.
No.
He also heard me discuss my wine preferences with a friend, which is why there was an open bottle of my preferred wine on the table.
No.
Literal goosebumps.
Fucking
down
weird.
My
No.
fucking arms.
So weird.
Danger.
Yeah.
There's an open container. There's somebody that's been like listening to you and doing all
Yeah.
that stuff. He's obviously engineered this,
Situation.
trick date. This is dangerous. This is like that Tainted Love I did.
Yeah.
Of that guy
That
at
she
work.
worked with.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, my
Mhm.
God.
Oh, it gets so much worse. Okay. Awkward level just shifted to DEFCON 3. I don't know what I was thinking. In fact, I metaphorically kicked my own ass after this debacle was over, but I didn't want him to be out of funds, considering he'd already ordered and I thought it might be mean to abandon him alone in a restaurant. Again, that like, I gotta be nice. I am still guilty of this to this day. That's people pleaser energy.
God, yeah. How much do you like your job? I'd be like, well, I'm quitting this job.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. And the city. Bye.
Yeah.
I'm out.
So, like an idiot, I stayed. He poured me a glass of wine, and I tried to make easy conversation, although I slipped in a couple of references about how we'd had a talk where I wasn't interested in him, etc. I was wary, so I watched my wine intake. He didn't. He was very free with the wine and became exceptionally talkative. Because I was referring to my previous relationship and how I wasn't ready to date again, hint, hint, he brought up his previous relationship too. He brought up how she was wrong to have dumped him. He brought up everything that was wrong with her. He brought up her new partner and how he was having him followed.
Oh my God.
He then brought
No.
up how he spent most nights parked out front of his ex's place since she wouldn't take his calls anymore, and how he found it funny to follow them in his car while flashing his light.
What? No.
Danger.
Mhm.
Dude,
I have to go to the bathroom with my coat and
I do
my
have to
purse.
show you the picture that she put. It's like that cat that's like, what? Huh?
Oh no.
The awkwardness accelerated past DEFCON 2 and straight to DEFCON 1.
Yeah.
What in the actual fuck? I gently explained to him that I didn't think that this was reasonable behavior. Perhaps he needed to look at getting some help. He rejected my suggestion.
You think?
At that point, if our table had come equipped with a panic button, I would have been pushing it aggressively.
911.
Right?
Exactly. Under the table. I think, my iPhone has like emergency call.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
It's
right?
like that thing where you're trying to make eye contact with your server, like you're trying to like telepathically communicate. Like, get me out of here.
Help.
He also quite happily admitted after that humdinger confession that he'd convinced all of the group to bow out, thus setting me up on an ambush date so that he could have a clear run at me.
You
His
don't
words.
fucking say.
A clear
You
run at
Where
psych
do you
it.
work, dude? Honestly, so one of your work colleagues need to be on the phone with
None of-
HR yesterday
Well,
about this shit.
These are not your friends. Like your work colleagues were just like, yeah, sure, fine. With this,
Ugh.
like if somebody asked me to do that, I would be like, no, does she want to go on a date with you? Because no.
Yeah,
Like I'm not gonna.
I would probably have gone to the girl and been like, "Hey, so this
This
is kind
seems
of
weird.
Like,
Yeah.
are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Like,
that
how
seems
you feel
weird.
about that?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
That was quite enough for me. I faked going to the bathroom and requested that the waiter call me a taxi. Even though this had been a disaster, I also paid for half the bill.
There you go.
I went back to the table and told TCO that I wasn't feeling well and would need to go home. The cherry on the cake, he was disappointed and then produced 2 tickets to Titanic. Wasn't that prophetic? Which I'm like, he then told me to cancel the taxi. He would drop me off.
No.
I'm good.
He was completely wrecked on alcohol,
No.
and I quickly declined. I also really didn't want to let him know where I lived.
Exactly.
The waiter came to
He
fetch
probably
me.
already knows, but still.
Right. The waiter came to fetch me, and I fled, leaving a drunk, depressed guy at the table. The next workday, he hit me up for paying half the bill. I explained to him that as it wasn't a date,
That's
I
right.
didn't feel it appropriate to leave without paying, and even when I did go on dates, that I preferred to go Dutch. He insisted that it was a date because there was only the 2 of us.
No,
Because you...
It's not a date
That's-
if I say
What?
it's not.
that's
No.
exactly fucking right. That's exactly fucking
I
right.
rejected his assertion and explained that I just wasn't interested.
Oof.
Flowers started arriving at work, and he left rambling letters on my keyboard about how we would make the perfect couple.
That's how my fucking Tainted Love started.
That's
No,
exactly
it's not.
fucking right.
Yeah. In the end, I was forced to make a complaint to get his attention to stop. I also had some choice words for those who had set me up, although I never told anyone about his stalking. Thankfully, I was offered a better role just a few weeks later and gratefully left the company and him behind.
Yep.
Funny. P.S. No, there was no second date. And then she edited, P.P.S. No, there was no first date.
Exactly right.
There was no date.
There was
period.
no date. This
Yeah.
wasn't a date.
This is actually not my worst date. It's
It's
It was
my
the time I
weirdest
was
encounter. Yeah.
wow.
Oh
Ooh.
my gosh.
Woof.
That's terrifying. Because
It's truly scary.
honestly, you never know when someone's just not going to heed those warnings and take it obviously
far.
to a point where it's too far. I mean, he's
Yeah.
already doing that kind of behavior with his ex.
Oh
so-
my God. That is
Scary.
See, that is something I would probably go to figure out who the ex is, because I'm like, that is dangerous.
Yeah.
That's dangerous for him to be following them and like flashing lights. I mean,
And
that's,
sitting outside her house all night. Like, that's a level of just like, I don't need sleep. I can sleep in my car outside your house.
No.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, this is very silly. So I hope you guys find it funny, but I thought it was hilarious. He says, it was the first date I had through Tinder. I was 17 years old and was pretty nervous since I had been talking to this girl for like 2 weeks, which is a long time if you're 17.
And on Tinder, I feel like that's kind of a long time.
Also,
Tinder at
17 on
17.
Wait, yeah. I'm
I know.
like, time out. Wait.
I know. It's too young to be on Tinder.
know.
Don't be on that app. I don't stop it.
Are you allowed to be on that app at 17?
I don't think so.
He's
but,
lying.
Yeah.
Saying he's 18 probably.
When we met, she turned out to be, not quite looking like her pictures, but I'm not allowed to care solely about looks.
Oh, it's in the UK. I wonder if it's different there.
Maybe.
The age.
Oh, maybe?
Having this feeling in the back of my head in combination with my nervousness made me feel very awkward. It was a hot summer day, so we decided to have a drink on the terrace in the city square. In cities in the Netherlands, there are clusters of chairs and tables and restaurants and bars set in front of your establishments if the weather allows it.
Mm-hmm.
So here I bought a cola while she bought one of those huge ass half a liter iced coffee macchiato things, whatever they're called. She seems she seemed pretty nice and kept the conversation going very well. After 15 minutes or so, the feeling that it was a one-sided conversation grew on me as I was not saying much due to my awkwardness. So I frantically searched for something to say.
Oh, no.
I've definitely been there before where you have like a weird realization, like out of body experience where you're like, I haven't talked enough in this conversation. So now I have to try and like think of something to say. And then it's so much worse. It's an inorganic.
At this point, I noticed she had a very expensive looking ring with a diamond. So I asked her about it. I was correct about the conversation seeming one-sided because she seemed to light up with enthusiasm with me introducing my own topic of conversation. Happily, she started to explain how much the ring meant to her since she inherited it from her passed-away grandma.
Oh.
While she did so, she took the ring off and handed it to me so I could have a closer look. Of course.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Instead of just taking the ring from her, I sort of fumbled with it as I tried to take hold of it, and it fell out of our hands. In horror, I could see it skipping along the city's square cobbles under our table, headed for a slight crevice in between two cobbles.
Oh no, this is my nightmare. I'm like sweating. Like, what a nightmare.
I immediately dove after it under the table, knocking my chair over. Huge wave of relief came over me as I caught it just in time. I have it, I yelled. While
and then I got hit by a bus.
I tried to sit upright to show her, but as I did so, I bumped my head on the bottom of the table, knocking over her huge coffee, spilling it completely over my head. It drenched my hair, face, beard, and shirt completely.
Oh my God.
She was very nice about it and said, "Oh God, I'll get you some napkins," and quickly just ran inside the bar. It was very busy inside, however, and this left me sitting outside for what felt like 20 minutes.
Holding the ring.
Sitting alone with my cola next to an empty glass, completely drenched in what was once the content of coffee, and holding a ring. All the men who walked past me laughed at me, while most women looked at me angrily.
Angrily? Oh, Jesus.
They probably thought
he
did something and she dumped the coffee on him.
No.
To top it all off, a waitress even came up to me to say, "What did you do to her?" Long story short, while it's funny in hindsight, 17-year-old me was horrified, and I quickly got out of there to take a shower when she returned.
Oh my gosh.
Honey. Truly though, like that fear of breaking or losing something that is like important to someone else.
Yeah.
Like the fear.
You're like, please don't hand it to me.
At our friends Amy and Emerson's wedding, I was holding Emerson's wedding ring, in line, getting ready to go in, and I dropped it, and it did the same thing. It like bounced And we were like getting ready to walk in. Like they were about to open the doors for us to walk in. And the way I'm in a gown. And I'm like, just fully like face planting onto the ground to save this ring. Because they roll, they bounce. Oh my God, I was so...
Yeah, that's too much.
It's too much.
I have a best ring story though ever, which is Chris was best man at one of our friends' weddings.
Yes, I know this story. I was there.
You were there, yeah. So our friend got married, and he's the best man, and he had the ring in his pocket. He took it from him like right before it was in his pocket, and he went to reach for the ring when it was time, and it wasn't there.
No. Oh, the fear. The fear?
They couldn't find it anywhere.
Stop.
So they had to take one from like the pillow, like one of those fake rings from the pillow, just to put something on
the ceremony.
And I know Chris, he must have been losing his mind.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding? He was like this. I mean, first of all, Chris is he's Capricorn. He's got full Capricorn energy.
Yes.
So he is organized.
Put it in my pocket.
Know exactly where it was.
It was there.
I know it was there. It was there. It was inside.
In the lining, there was a hole.
Yes, there was a tiny hole. Tiny hole. He's like, I honestly don't even know. But it was in the lining of his jacket.
Oh my God.
The whole time.
Isn't that terrifying?
I don't need to tell you that they did get divorced. That's not nice. But, yes. But it's true.
Yeah. Sometimes the sign is the sign.
Sometimes the gods know what they're talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. You guys want to take 5 then? And we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to preface this by saying that I think that there has been a turn when talking about true crime.
Yeah.
And that people are like, you know what? But these are like real people behind these stories.
Yeah.
These are sad. You know, like it's not funny to true crime's not
you don't want to
necessarily
make too light of it because it's like, there are real people.
There are real people
behind
affected.
These stories. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm prefacing this story by telling you that because it's not that I think this story is funny because someone definitely did die. But when I tell you some of the hijinks and the tomfoolery
I think that you can laugh at the stupidity of people that are criminals.
That's where it is. That's what I wanted to be clear. That's what I'm laughing at.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
We understand. We understand here. We're 4 years in. We understand.
I rarely do something I just heard, but I just heard this on 48 Hours.
I know. And you were like,
do not
listen to 48 Hours.
And I have not.
And I did not.
And I apologize if anyone was, but when I tell you that Chris and I were listening to this and had to pause it multiple times to laugh out loud and say, did they just say XYZ?
You know, it reminds me of whenever I did that one from the Dateline about the church. And like, you remember where it was just like this guy in the church and it was like absolutely horrible. But like the things that they were talking about, where it was just like weird, where they were like,
what?
We can bring your wife back to life. Would you like us to give it a shot? Like things like that, where I'm just like, look, man, like I know that this story is so like, tragic. No, thanks. But sometimes there are some like absolutely off the wall, like
bonkers
shit that happens where you're like, what?
Yeah. I may be overselling this, but I will tell you that when Chris and I definitely found some of the things amusing, it all started, the story that I'm going to tell starts in Dillsboro, Indiana. Already funny, Dillsboro. On May 28th, 2014, the sheriff's department gets a call from Betty Green. Betty Green is the mother of a Ray Green, and she calls the sheriff and she's like, hey, you guys, weird thing. I just got a call from my daughter-in-law telling me that my son was killed by their German Shepherd Jazzy out on their property. And what? And she's like, and it's like this beautiful little older lady, like, who's like, she's like, I don't know why she would call me and tell me that. Like, you know, they live on this property. And
why aren't you calling the police?
Yeah. Or like, why aren't you being informed by like, I don't know.
To call your mother-in-law and be like, BT dubs.
Hey.
The dog ate your son. Yeah, that's
the
bizarre.
Dog jumped up, bit his throat. He's dead.
I mean, Okay.
And she was just like, but it was so off-putting, I think, the way that in which she was told, that she was like, could you maybe just pop over and do a little welfare check for me? So they do. The officers are like, that is weird.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yes, Betty, you do have a point. You make a very valid point. We are going to go out to the property and just take a little look-see. So they get to the property, and that's where they find Danielle, or Dani Green. She's there they have this huge property, and they have a trailer on the property, and they find her at the trailer, and she's there, and they're like, do you mind us taking a little look-see around? We're looking for your husband, Ray. She's like, oh, he's not here. He's on the road. He drives semi. And the sheriff is like, that semi right there? The semi that's on your property that's parked right there? And she's like, yeah, well, you know what? You can look around all the property.
Actually, yeah, sure.
Take a little look. You know what? You can look anywhere you want, but don't look in that box.
I love when people like it's. I always wonder what's going on in the minds of people like this. Like, what? First of all, you're just like, I don't know, his semi's not here, and they're like, "That's right there." Like, I did she just think like, I don't know, maybe if I say it, they'll just take my word for it?
And also, like,
sounds good.
After she like said that thing, why weren't they like, then why'd you call his mom and say he got eaten by the dog?
Right.
It's just so weird.
Why did you tell her mom? His
not
mom
a
that
lot
she's
of
dead. There's just
like
not
thinking happening here.
There
like,
is literally no thinking happening.
no thinking of any kind.
Before or after.
No, none. No, there is not a thought behind those eyes. Just like my cute dog.
Oh,
Very cute, but no thoughts.
no thoughts. Just sounds and colors.
Just cute. And she is cute. She's very pretty. She's long hair, wears it in braids, just really, really cute, younger woman. And her and Ray had been married for quite a few years. But she was like, you can search anywhere, just you can't search that box because, well, that's Ray's box and it's locked and I can't give permission for you to look into that box. Ma'am.
Maybe stop talking about the box so much.
Yeah.
Because I've never, look, in the history of ever, has anyone ever told you not to open that box that didn't immediately make you want to open the fuck out of that box?
Yeah, 100.
Like the second somebody says, hey, you can't look in this locked box, I'm like, I am picking that lock.
And one side of it's like securely locked and the other side's a little like kind of pushed open. And there's a lot of flies around this box.
What?
Oh no.
It's not looking good.
No.
So let me tell you a little bit about Ray Green and Dani Green. First of all, the daughter gets called, Tracy, which is Ray's daughter. Ray's daughter gets called and they're like, hey, your stepmom called and was like, your dad got killed by a dog. And her first inkling was the same inkling that I want you to have if somebody says a dog attacked me.
Mm-hmm. And
that didn't happen because that man and animals that didn't happen. That's not possible because there's no way a dog would have attacked him ever.
No dog.
No dog.
None
Not
of
even,
them.
especially not their fucking family dog.
Right.
Suddenly decided to fucking attack him.
Jazzy.
Jazzy.
Why are you trying to put the blame on Jazzy?
Jazzy's just sitting over there in the corner like, what did I do?
I'm sorry, ma'am, what? No, Jazzy wasn't.
He's got one of those bubbles that like, Mom, bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Buttons.
Those buttons.
Check box.
Check
box.
I love it whenever they have the one that's just like, bitch. Like, have you seen that? Yes. Where it's like outside, and like, we can't go outside. It's like, bitch.
Jazzy wasn't found on the property either, unfortunately.
Oh no.
But Tracy was like, hi, my dad gets along with all animals. He grew up on a ranch in San Antonio. He's a horse breeder and trainer. This man is literally the animal whisperer. Like, this is not
fairness. It doesn't mean you can't get attacked by an animal just because you're good with him. Look,
like,
I assure you, I will investigate it to the full extent.
I want
Cassie.
an
I promise you that.
absolute thorough investigation. If Chris calls you and says, I was attacked by a dog.
If Chris calls me and says that for any reason,
911.
It's weird.
Because I'm like, why are you calling me, Chris?
It's weird.
Fucking weird. Like,
I should have heard this on the down low from Christina by accident. Like, it's not public yet. Christina actually called me. Hey, Keegan, I just wanted to let you know Cassie died because a dog attacked her. And you'll be like,
Christina calls me and she's like,
This is
weird call from Chris.
Yeah.
I heard that too. And you're going to tell the police, no, that's not possible. Cassie gets along with all animals. That is not a thing.
It is true. You do get along with animals. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even animals that like people are like, nobody can talk to the animal. I'm like, oh, this little baby right here, baby. Yeah. It's weird. Anyway, Tracy is the daughter of Ray, as I said, and his first wife, Maggie. Maggie and Ray knew each other almost their entire lives. Like literally they met when they were like 6 and 10 or something like that. They were like, grew up, high school sweethearts, got married, absolutely, just literally like their whole lives were together. They were a beautiful couple. Tracy just speaks so highly of them as like role models, as parents. They were just amazing, beautiful couple, just fully in love with each other. And tragically, though, Maggie died in a horrible accident. She actually died in a bridge collapse coming home from a barrel race. A barge had hit this like overpass bridge that she was driving on, and just a freak fucking
horrifying.
accident.
That's terrible.
Awful. And, you know, of course, Ray is absolutely devastated. I mean, you know, this is the love of his life. And, you know, everybody is just, I mean, just what a freak accident.
It's just such a like unexpected way
completely
to go.
unexpected.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Out of nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of out of nowhere, Dani, who is somebody who's known Ray for a while, she's familiar with Ray already. She had actually hired him to do some horse training for her. There is a 22-year age gap between the two of them.
I was going to say, it had to be pretty wide because you said she was pretty young and he's got a daughter that's older, right?
Yeah, I think that the daughter might be older than her or close in the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there is a 22-year age gap.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, you know, a pretty large gap between the two of them. But, you know, she's there all the time. They just start hitting it off. They both have so much in common. They're both big into the horse. You know, they love horse breeding. They love you know, everything to do with horses. I mean, like his ex-wife was a barrel racer, but, and they eventually, you know, like that relationship starts to blossom into, you know, a real, you know, romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Tracy's not too keen on it, but at the same time, she wants to see her father happy. And
right.
You know, she's like, I'm not going to stand in the way if this is, you know, obviously devastating, but, you know, I don't want to lose another parent because of, you know, that either.
Right.
Dani's dream is to go to the Olympics for dressage, which is like basically fancy footwork dog or like horse thing. You see my
Yes, I know exactly what you're. The hand gestures are really doing it for me. Yeah. It's a cloppy situation. Yeah. I'm sure that our listeners know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like horse dancing.
Basically
pretty
horse
much.
dancing.
Yeah.
She wanted to go to the Olympics for horse dancing.
Yes.
So they decide to move to Palm Beach, which is like the heart of this like Olympic breeding dressage community.
No idea that Palm Beach was
Who knew?
So well known for that.
Who knew? But that is like kind of the place to be, I guess, if you're going to get into Olympic level dressage.
There's no judgment, but I do think human beings are so weird that we were just like, you know what would be fun? Let's teach this horse how to dance, and then let's make it into a competition that we can take to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Such a what?
Humans are weird, dude.
Yeah, we're so weird.
And I think that like goes back pretty far. Like
I'm sure it does. It sounds like an old timey.
Yeah, sounds like some kind of Renaissance bullshit.
It
They're
sounds
like,
like a
look,
rich
everything's
person-
beautiful now. Let's make horses dance.
It sounds like a rich person with way too much time on their hands came up with that.
100%. And it's an expensive proposition for sure.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it doesn't hurt that Ray got this huge settlement from, you know, his first wife dying in such a horrible accident. He got an undisclosed amount of money, but it was definitely in the millions because they mention it again later in the story. And so they used that money for them to move to Palm Beach and for her to start to live out her dream as a horse dancing Olympist.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Great. We all have to have dreams and hobbies.
well, they also have other hobbies. One of their other hobbies is sorry, I don't know if I'm able to keep a straight face. They join an in the community, there is a shooter club, and the shooter club is like old timey dress up, like old timey cowboys and
They're
cowgirls.
LARPing. They're LARPing as cowboys
and gunplay. And the gunplay is like shooting at like, it's like they, pistol
like Annie Oakley shit.
Oh, so much so that they actually have nicknames for each of them. They don't go by their real name. Ray goes by Doc R. Green, and Dani goes by Dani Oakley.
Oh,
as
wow.
you do.
Wow. Oh, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Look, again, no judgment. Like everybody
It
has to have
sounds fun.
their thing,
Yeah.
And like if y'all want to LARP as cowboys,
It's exactly what it
Yeah.
is, by the way. Chris and I were listening to it, like I said, as an audio in the car, and he was like, I literally don't know what's happening. All I hear is ping, boom, ping, 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 ping.
I'm just seeing Tombstone in my head
Yes.
this whole time.
And it's just ping, 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 ping. Like
Amazing.
so funny, right? So they start this new hobby. They meet a lot of friends through this. And everything's going really like all aces for them, except for 2008 happens. And we all know what happens in 2008.
Yeah.
Everybody loses their ass.
And especially Florida. Florida lost it especially bad. That's when I moved to Florida.
Yeah.
Lost everything in 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awful. It was awful for everybody. And, of course, they have these beautiful, basically they have like this ranch. They have this beautiful land that literally is almost worthless to them, is definitely worth like literally a quarter of what they ever spent on it.
Right.
So they lose like everything. And they, the horse market, obviously, who's buying horses, who's training and raising horses
people
when you're
are
losing
living in
your
their
homes.
cars.
Yeah.
And they're just like, nobody has time for horse dancing in 2008.
Nobody had
No.
time to horse dancing in 2008. So true. So Ray, he was in Vietnam. I mean, the guy is like, he should have been retired by now, but he is like lost everything. So now he's got to find a job. So he starts to do landscaping. They get a contract to do landscaping in the community in which they live. So that's how they're making basically just ends meet. At the same time, Dani's parents, both of them, horrifically get cancer. So she has to fucking move to Indiana to take care of both of them.
There is so much tragedy
It's
in
awful.
this family.
Awful.
Like, just wow.
Just awful, right? So she's like, well, I'm going to move up to Indiana to take care of them. And he's like, well, I'm going to live with the friends of mine.
And hold down the
and,
fort.
and they don't have a home. So he's having to basically live off friends. He sends his entire paycheck home to help take care of her so that she can take care of her parents.
Both of your parents getting cancer at the same time.
Imagine.
Like, oh my God.
That's so sad.
Yeah. It's actually, it's completely terrible. And, it's during this time though that, Ray and his daughter hadn't actually been connecting. They actually found out that a lot of her phone calls had been blocked. They had shared a cell phone at the time. So Dani had blocked her cell phone, had taken when Christmas cards came, things like that. She was taking them. Ray hadn't heard from his daughter in so long. And finally, like when she moved up to Indiana, he was like, hey, Trace, why don't I ever hear from you anymore? And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm trying to reach out to you all the time.
Oh.
So they reconnect, which was really great for their relationship. But, now things are different. And, maybe now that he has his own phone and, maybe it wasn't a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
It'd be a huge fucking deal for me.
It would be a huge deal. I mean, I don't know we'd be having a very, very serious conversation.
Yeah.
If you're trying to step in between me and my children and
Yeah.
trick me into thinking that they're not contacting me, like that is...
That's not that
Not
kind of
okay.
controlling, isolating behavior.
I think that'd be
definitely-
very hard to
yeah.
move on from for me
Yeah.
personally, actually.
And
Yeah.
Tracy's like, I have no reason to believe that it's anything other than she just was after his money. And, she saw, an older man that she could use because he got a great big settlement to live out her dream as, doing this dressage and going to the Olympics and, raising and training horses. I'm telling you, man, horse people are very
intense.
Yes, that is true. Yes.
But it's 2013, a few years pass. They've been living separately for a while. But it's 2013. Both of her parents do pass, and she's, inherited basically their place in Indiana. They have a huge property. I think they said like 300 acres, like a huge amount of property, a beautiful house on it.
300 acres?
A lot. The house that's on it, though, is in need of a lot of repairs. A lot had gone downhill when their parents were sick. They just didn't get to keep it up. So, but Dani's like, this is also another golden opportunity for us to use this farm or to use this land to be able to, raise horses and, do this. So he joins her. At the time, they basically had run out of money, right? And so Ray decides that he's going to start trucking. He's like, I'm going to get my trucker's license so I can make money on the road. And she's like, great, but it's also just not enough money for us to try to move forward in our dreams. So he's like, you know what? If we divorce, I actually get Social Security for my first wife's death. So they decide to divorce, but they're going to live together on the property because they want to be together. But now he's going to be able to make more money because of the Social Security that he's going to get. So, again, so let's fast forward to now the cops are on the present day. They're on the property. The cops are told, again, don't look in that smelly box with the flies in it. So immediately they get a fucking warrant to open up the box, and they do find Ray's body is inside. He's riddled with bullets.
Oh.
She's like, guess what, guys? It was self-defense.
Oh, that's terrible.
When I'm telling you, the video footage that they have of her walking them through how it happened is so disarming. Like, you're like, she is not an emotion on her face.
She doesn't seem very bright either. Like, she just doesn't seem like, for her to think that this would work.
Absolutely emotionless and just riddled with bullets, right? 10 bullets. So she explains to him that she's coming out of the bathroom. He's trying to make moves on her and she's not into it. So he goes for the gun and is like, I'm going to shoot you. This is about as much emotion as she's putting into this. And he's like, I'm going to shoot you. So then I push him onto the bed and then I grab the gun and then I don't even remember the gun going off. I'm telling you, I'm actually more emotional telling you this story than she is delivering this information. She's telling it like she's telling somebody about a show she watched. I mean, she talks about how she shot him. She says she walks out into the other room, goes across the trailer to get more bullets, reloads her gun, comes back and shoots him 5 more times. And the cops are like, exactly. Like,
why? Yeah.
Why? You were scared for your life. Why did you even come back into the room? Why didn't you just leave? Like, none of it makes sense. None of this adds up. And so they are going through this whole thing. And so they're like, why exactly? They're like, why did she do this? So they start going through like emails, messages, and start to dig up a little bit of like what had been going on in the past few years, like where her head was at, like why she would feel like, was there anything that would lead them to believe that he was abusive, that he was this guy that she's telling them about. And it seems that Dani may have actually had her eyes on another action shooter from their club. His name was George Mann. He went by, pause for impact, Angus McNasty.
Oh, what? Oh my God. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not that.
It was not that. I thought it was going to be a play on like Wyatt Earp or something.
Oh my God.
Angus McNasty.
Ew.
I hate that. I hate it. I hate it.
Angus McNasty and her have been.
Oh my God. Stop it.
That's awful.
Started a secret internet relationship in 2012. And this is a real fucking quote from 48 Hours.
Stop.
No, I'm not. After they had read an interaction between the two of them, the interviewers, kind of basing a reaction. And Angus McNasty says, quote, well, you have to understand, attractive women, I tend to be a little more flirtatious than I should. Well, it's just not his fault. You see, he's a married man, but gosh darn it, when it comes to
himself. I mean, boys will be boys, obviously.
Attractive women.
McNasties will be McNasty.
McNasty be nasty. Oh man, anyway, so he's a married man, and he's like, well, he declines that she did this to be with him, and said that she dreamed of raising horses in Ocala, Florida. And so, of course, maybe that was all part of this thing or whatever. But I'm like, she's not even married to him anymore. So she's not going to get Social Security from him. Well, I don't understand what she was thinking all this time.
Did she want to be with Angus? Like, why?
Well, that's what the police are like. Well, did she do this because she wants to be with you? And he was like, I was having a flirtatious
internet
but
affair.
Did she know that? Because I feel like we've definitely told stories where the one person was like, whoa, no.
No, thank you.
The other one was like, no, we were going to be together.
Right.
And they can't really tell. They can't be sure if that was her motivation or if it was just, a delusion or what was going on. But they think that maybe that could be the reason why. But the other thing that they found damning in her computer was that she literally Googled, and I quote, what happens when you shoot a guy in the head with a .38?
Okay.
So it was definitely premeditated then.
Yeah. Definitely premeditated.
That's
there was a few other
first
ones.
degree. For sure.
Woof. It's all woof. She also does headshot at 38 close range, and the phrase, if you shoot someone, is it lights out or possibly survive? ?
Ooh,
Honey.
Wow, there's a lot to process in that sentence. A lot. But first of all, have you absorbed no media? Like none? Because obviously you should know that sometimes people survive gunshots. What a weird thing to Google. Also the phrasing
right?
and formatting of that sentence is so weird.
Bonkers.
Like there's something going on.
The problem is I don't
upstairs.
think that there's anything going on upstairs. It makes me question that there's any
activity.
There doesn't seem to be a motive.
But that's the thing.
Not monetary.
There doesn't seem to be a motive. It doesn't seem
They're
that
not married, so she could just leave.
Yeah.
I mean, they did interview, to be fair, a woman, their male woman who wanted to remain anonymous. She was saying that she was like, he definitely beat her. He's like, I saw her many times with a sling, bruised eyes. But she's the only person who came forward as this male woman that they had when they lived in Florida. Literally all their friends, everyone they ever knew, all their mutuals, anybody that they horse raced, all of their action shooter friends.
But yeah.
But everybody was like, never, literally never saw her with a black eye, never saw her bruise. If anything, she may have gotten banged up a couple times on the horse, but it was very clearly that's what it was. But it wasn't and he was.
She's not even alleging that, is she?
No. Oh no, that's what she's saying. She's saying that's why she shot him, because he was abusive.
And that he had been abusive throughout the relationship?
He had been abusive throughout the relationship,
okay.
But he was trying to come on to her. That was the thing. That was the end of the straw. The end of the line is that he was trying to have sex with him. But the evidence the prosecution has is also pretty fucking damning. And that is that in the trailer, they found the blanket, and the blanket was clearly over top of him when the first bullets were shot, because there's holes through the actual.
Oh.
So they can prove that he was probably sleeping.
Wait,
at the
disproves
time.
her story, because
Entirely,
isn't she saying that he was coming at her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said that he was coming at her, that he was standing up, that he fell on the
maybe
bed.
He was
Taking a
wrapped in a blankie when he came at her, the way that I look when I get up in the morning and make myself a bowl of cereal.
Except that is exactly how her attorney is like, nope, she's innocent.
Stop it.
He probably had that wrapped around him.
What?
I mean, it's just the most bonkers thing you've ever seen. Anyway, they go to court. This is 2014 at this point. They spend 2 weeks going through deliberation, or through this trial. Thank you. And 8 hours later, after it's handed to the jury, they come up with a guilty verdict. She is serving a 60-year sentence. A really odd note. I'm going to give you two little minor bonus things. One, they never did find Jazzy, which is so sad.
Oh.
The second thing is that he died on May 26th, which was exactly 12 years from the exact day that his wife passed.
Oh,
And so like the family is like, is it a sign that they're together now? And I'm like, it's so sad. But yeah, that is the absolute horrid death.
Yeah, it just seems
Of Ray Green.
it just doesn't seem. I'm struggling to wrap my head around the why of it.
yeah.
Nothing seems to make sense in the whole story. And then I don't know that there is anything that can make sense because it feels haphazard. I mean, she clearly did it. She clearly shot him 10 times.
Well, she admitted to it.
She admitted to that.
Yeah.
And she admitted to reloading her gun on the other side of a trailer. Like, it just feels so.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see what her reasoning for it was.
Yeah.
When she could have just as easily just left.
They were divorced.
Yeah, or kicked him out. If
Yeah.
they're on her parents' farm,
Yeah.
she'd be like, bye.
Yeah. They're divorced. There's literally no reason at that point for her to not just be like, I need this man off my property.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any
Strange.
ties to it. He doesn't,
How sad for his daughter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just like
devastating.
lost both of your parents in the most abrupt and tragic way.
Awful.
And were robbed of how many years of a relationship with that father because of
Yeah.
somebody
and your
interfering.
and the grandkids. I mean, they
Yeah.
lost.
Horrible.
awful.
Horrible. Sad.
I
Wow. Ooh-wee.
I need to like text my mom. Make
Right?
sure she's
Right.
okay.
Right.
Like,
Oh.
well, what are you guys watching this week?
Well, I've had Showtime since Yellow Jackets. I've been paying for Showtime. It is one of those things where every month I'm like, you need to cancel Showtime.
Mhm.
And then I'll forget. And then when I'm like, I go to cancel it. And it's just like, it had just renewed. So now I'm like, well, now I can't cancel it because I feel like I've paid for this month and now I need to take advantage of it. Right. So it's,
You do know that when you cancel it, they honor the.
I mean, I know that now,
Oh,
but I did it.
All right.
at the
All right.
time.
Okay.
And so I have Showtime until the 20th when I've set a reminder to cancel it. And so I was like, what can I take advantage of on this platform? And the second season, and I know I talked about the first season way back when, of Back to Life, which is this English show. It's a dark comedy. Like the themes are very, very dark, but it's so funny. And all of the actors are so incredible in it. It's so good. They're tiny episodes. They're like 27 minutes each episode. And the season's like 6 episodes long. So you can just kind of like breeze right through it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. So I am almost done with the second season of that. And then other than that, I have almost finished Under the Banner of Heaven, which is the opposite. It's very long. Every episode is over an hour long, and it is heavy.
Yeah.
There
man.
is not a lot of comedic relief in that show.
No, it's
No redeeming
it's
qualities.
intense.
No,
Got
but
it.
no, it's great. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
No, I mean, like, no redeeming.
Nothing
light.
light. No, but it is very, very good. If you want just like a really good, beautifully shot, True Detective vibes kind of show. Yeah.
I just started watching Trixie Motel on Discovery Plus.
Yes.
She's so funny. Her and have you seen Katya on Zoe or whatever that show is?
Yes.
She is so funny.
Oh,
love it.
Katya
Oh
is-
my God.
I love them. I've been watching them since their
Yeah.
show that they have. I think is just fucking so funny. But yeah, it's a show on Discovery Plus. Basically, Trixie Mattel and her partner bought a motel in Palm Springs.
I love it.
I
It
love
only
it.
has like 7 rooms and like a pool, and they're just redoing, like flipping this.
Can
it's
we
like,
please go when it's open?
it is
Immediately?
open. It is booked.
Yeah.
Through
sure.
like next year already. June
Okay,
of next year. And it's like
let's put our names down.
$600 some a night.
Yeah.
But it's luxe, and they're redoing it, and it's so fun. I love like
So
watching
smart.
house flipping stuff.
Yeah.
It's
So
very
smart.
calming
This
to
is
me.
combining
so,
so many of your favorite things.
yes,
Literally.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's got everything. So I definitely recommend that on Discovery Plus. So
Amazing. I have been binging just procedural British stuff.
The best.
Yeah.
The
So
best.
I just finished watching London Kills. Really good. Really good. If you
Nice.
like London procedurals.
What network? Because you know I do.
I do Amazon Prime Acorn.
Oh, okay. Acorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is worth that little extra money I spent. I actually started getting Acorn because my parents wanted a specific show on there. I think it was Murdoch Mysteries or some nonsense that they loved, and they were like not able to find like the last season. So I started getting it for them, and then I was just like, well, yeah, here we are. I'm gonna watch it all.
There you go.
Oh, I do want to plug, because I feel like I was posting so much reading stuff and talking so much about reading, even on this podcast, that I did start just like a for fun reading Instagram page.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody wants to like keep up with what I'm reading, I just read The Vegetarian, which was a very interesting kind of horror Korean translated novel, which was really good, but weird. Check the trigger warnings before you read that one. Anyway, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's _KeegsReads_.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely following that. Well, hey, if you guys have something that we should watch or read, or if you want to just reach out and say hello, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much. Cheers.